God damn, guys, life is just fucking horrible. It truly is fucking horrible, guys. I'm fucking, when I was a lot younger, I was so hopeful, guys. I used to have my mom and dad with me. I used to be all hopeful, playing outside in the fucking playground, playing football and stuff. But, as I got older, life just turned to shit. Everything just feels like shit now. Life isn't fun anymore, guys. Life is just a fucking tragedy after a tragedy, and everything's just getting worse and worse. And we're just gonna be getting older and older and going into the grave, and what the fuck's the point, guys? I just feel like life's just hopeless, guys. I just feel like it's all just fucking meaningless, guys. Life just truly feels like it's got no value anymore, and I just feel like everything's pointless, everything's hopeless, everything's just meaningless. There's no value, there's no meaning here. I just feel like life is just absolutely atrocious. Life is just horrible. I'm dying, guys. Guys, is life absurd? I wanted to get into this now. I wanted to talk about absurdism, and I did cover this quite a lot in my other videos on my YouTube channel, but I wanted to just really dive into like absurdism, nihilism, this whole hopelessness and despair that a lot of us might be suffering from. Is there any merit to it? Because is life absurd? Because I do think so, that life, we're born, right? And then eventually we go through different stages in our lives. We do a bunch of random shit, then we eventually gradually turn older, and then we go into the grave and die, and in the end it does seem a bit pointless. Is life absurd? And I do think so, that life does seem to be, to some degree, very absurd. There's just so much absurdism here in this world. There's like people that are like dying of like so many terminal illnesses, praying to God, and they still pass away and die. There's like just absurdism that bad things happen to good people that are like donating to charity, giving away their wealth to improve the world. They also get struck by so many different sorts of tragedies, and then tyrants live to an old age, and there's just so much like, there is so much like absurdity in this world. It's just a bit, to me, it just seems a bit odd that, is life absurd? Because life is so temporary. We're not here forever, guys. Eventually, if you're watching this, you're gonna go 6 foot underground, which is kind of cliche. You don't need me to tell you that, but anyway, but it's just that, is life absurd? Because I do think so, that there's just so many different sorts of like absurdist elements to this world, this reality. This world has like so many sorts of like cruelties, people starving and dying in famines, and like there's just so. Guys, it's so fucking horrible, guys. I feel fucking sad. Oh man. Guys, I'm just suffering so much, guys. I'm getting so many sorts of physical health issues, problems, complications in my body, and I'm just feeling super down and low now, guys. And I just feel fucking horrible, guys. I feel super sad, guys. Life just isn't what it seems like it should be, you know what I'm saying, guys? Life just doesn't seem like it's worth living. Everything just seems fucking meaningless and hopeless and despair. I just feel like everything's just hopeless and just meaningless, and just everything just seems like it's meaningless, and I just can't seem to find any meaning anymore, guys. And I'm dying, I'm turning older, guys, and I'm just becoming a shell of my former self, and I just feel fucking absolutely horrible, guys. Everything just feels atrocious. Much bad stuff that's in this world, parasites, and also there's just so much shit that's in this world that's like very negative. And we're born into this world, we don't really understand why we're here, what we're doing here, where we're going in the future, what's going to happen to us after we die. We don't even really understand our place here in this world, and this world's like, there's like so much bad stuff here. But I'm going in circles. I need to make more structured points, but I'm just talking about, is life absurd? Because I do think so, that life, it does seem to be somewhat absurd, at least in my opinion, because because a lot of us, we try and make our lives feel profound, meaningful, and then it's just like, in the end you're gonna die, go into the grave, and no one's gonna remember you in the next 1,000 years. So is it like what value does your life hold if you just get forgotten about in the foreseeable future, in the coming decades, in the next 1,000 years? And this type of absurdism, Friedrich Nietzsche's nihilism, it's very, very deep, guys. It's very fucking deep, and it's very hard to come to terms with, to face this sort of like reality of like absurdism, nihilism, hopelessness and despair. And a lot of people kind of shy away from this, and they get a bit moody and depressed. And it truly is very like saddening and depressing. Like this like absurdism that life is just like might be meaningless. We're here for no apparent reason. Then we're gonna go away into the grave and never come back. And it's just, what's the point of it all? In the next 1,000 years, you're gonna be forgotten about. Like, no one's gonna really remember what you were doing in your 9-to-5 job. Everything we do in this life, in this world, it seems so temporary, fleeting, pointless in the end. And to me, it just seems a bit, my guys, life's going upside down. I'm just feeling like shit. Everything's going haywire. And guys, life just doesn't feel like what it should be. And I'm just starting to wonder, guys, if there's any higher point to it all. Are we here for any sort of profoundness? Are we here for any reason? Are we just, because life does feel absurd, guys. Life feels super duper fucking absurd. And I'm just suffering a lot. I'm just dying, guys. I'm getting all sorts of health problems and issues. And I'm just life just feels fucking horrible. And I'm just feeling like I'm dying on the inside. And guys, is life absurd, guys? Is life just absurd? Is it all just a waste of time? I just feel like everything's going upside down. I'm losing my bearings. I'm getting all fucking old and horrible, and I'm just fucking dying on the inside. Is life absurd, guys? Is it a bit weird? And is life absurd? To me, it would appear to be the case that life does seem to be absurd. It does appear to be absurd, at least in my opinion, because we're here for such a small amount of time, a very short temporary amount of time. Eventually, you're going to go through the aging process, deteriorate, die, go into the grave. In the next 1,000 years, you'll be lucky if you're even remembered. And it's just like, there's like, this world is just so, it's very, very saddening and disheartening and depressing. It's like, a lot of bad things happen in this world to good people, and this world is just like, it's not what you want it to be. It's not what you think it should be. It's like so counterintuitive. It goes against everything inside of your head. It's like preconceived like notions that you have of the world, that everything's all lovey-dovey. It goes against it all. Like, this world is so cruel, so cold and dark. We all turn older and we die and we lose our loved ones as well. And it seems to me like, it just doesn't, life isn't what it should be, It feels like we're almost in like a hell realm. We're in a prison. We're dying, aging, deteriorating. And we're gonna go into the grave. And everyone around us is gonna die as well. And it's just, this world's like so fucking depressing, man. I swear down. Once you actually look at life for what it actually is, this world that we're living in, if you look at it for what it actually is, it's very, very saddening, guys. There's so many bad things happening in this world. Animals in factory farms dying so you can eat your food. And me, I'm not a vegan. I understand their message though, you know what I mean? This world is like so disheartening, so saddening at times. And is life absurd? And I do think so, that, because if you think about it, in the next 1,000 years, you're gonna be lucky if you're even remembered, period. You might be like briefly mentioned in some shitty fucking chronicles, some like wizard, not that wizard. Life just feels fucking, I've just been hit. It feels like ass, I swear down. Everything just feels fucking horrible, my G's. I feel like life's just a shithole. It's a shit heap. Parents are dead. Brother's got diabetes. I feel like everything's just going upside down. Tipsy daisy. Everything's just turning to crap. Life feels just meaningless and fucking pointless. What's the point of us even being alive? This world seems like fucking shit. Everything just seems like shit. Everything's getting so dark and gloomy and saddening at times. I just feel fucking in despair. I feel fucking sad, depressed, so anxious, so depressed and miserable. What's the point of it all? Life just seems pointless. What's the point if there's no point to begin with it? What's the point if there's nothing to point at or point towards? Life just seems there's some nerd in the future might be like trying to decipher past events and he might come across your life. If you're lucky, that might be the case. But most likely, we're all just going to go into the grave and respire and disappear forever. And in the next 1,000 years, we're going to be lucky if our names are even brought up and remembered. Is life absurd? Life does appear to be absurd. We're born into this like very cold, dark, cruel world. We go through so many different sorts of hardships. Eventually you turn older, you're going to lose your loved ones. That's going to be very frightening. And it's going to keep getting worse and worse. And you're going to just keep turning older and older. And it seems to me, eventually you're going to die. We're all going to die at some point. Doesn't matter what you do, and it's very disheartening, guys, and saddening. Like, life isn't what it should be, you know what I mean? It's like, it's so cold, it's so cruel, it's so hard here, being alive in this world. It's so disheartening. And we all want the world to be a better place, I know I do. But it's like, this world is so disheartening, it's so shockingly sad and depressing. There's just so much negativity in this world, you know what I mean? And is life absurd? Because if you think about it, in the next 1,000 years, you're going to be lucky if your name gets remembered, if anything you do is worth taking note of in the foreseeable future. If you make it even past your because we only live our lives here for like a couple odd decades, and then we're gone forever. This world's like very, very like absurdism. You need to look into that. It can like really shock you guys. Absurdism, that ultimately what we do here, it's not profound, it's not important. Because in the next 1,000 years, you're gonna be lucky if life just seems fucking horrible, guys. I just feel like everything's just meaningless. And I feel fucking sad, guys, and I just feel like, you know, everything just doesn't seem like what it should be. Everything seems so fucking horrible. Everything seems like it's just not what it should be. When I was a lot younger, I used to play football outside with my bro. Now I'm older and it's just, everything seems like shit. Asinine, really. Everything seems like it's just asinine. Everything just doesn't seem like what it should be. Everything just seems upside down and saddening and depressing. Everything just seems like it shouldn't be what it is, but it is here. Everything just seems asinine. What you were doing here is even remembered. Most of us aren't going to be remembered at all. Think about in the Middle Ages, all the peasants. Do you know what they were doing? Do you know their life details? Do you know their names that they were writing on their pen books? No, you don't. You don't know anyone ordinary in the past. You just know all the kings and monarchs. That's it. But you don't know the ordinary folk, because they all disappear into the dustbins of history. Likewise, if you're watching this, you're probably going to go into the dustbin of history as well. A lot of us, we're not going to be remembered at all in the future, and it's like this sort of like fucking nihilism, pessimism, and despair, that we're all going to have to face death, dying, seeing our loved ones disappear, go into the grave, all of this like dark shit. That's like, we all know this shit is inevitable, like all of this like dark fucking like psychological horror shit. That's like, yes, your parents are gonna die in the future, your loved ones are gonna die, everyone you know is gonna die at some point, including yourself. It's like this like dark fucking nihilism that's looming in the back, and it's impossible to come to terms with this, because it's like so disheartening and depressing, and this is shocking and stuff like that. And it's like, is life absurd? And I do think so, that life does seem very absurd. There's like a lot of absurdism in this world. There's like good things, bad things happening to good people, and there's like just this like absurdism and despair and just nihilism shit. It's fucking horrible, guys. I'm just making this whole video so fucking saddening and depressing. Well, hopefully you're thinking about these sorts of things, because they're very, very fucking important and profound. You know, because a lot of us, we try and be like optimistic and hopeful about the world, but the world's just such a fucked up place. It's so dark and gloomy. There's so many bad people and X, Y, and Z and diseases and illnesses. But, you know, a lot of you do try and be hopeful and optimistic, but still there's just so much dark shit here. And, you know, is life absurd? I do think so, it is. Life just doesn't seem like it has any value. We're gradually turning older and older and older, becoming weaker, deteriorating, losing our weight, becoming just a shell of our former selves. And life, again, just doesn't seem like it has any merit to it, value whatsoever. It just seems like so meaningless. And I've been feeling sick and down lately, and I just feel like life has no value, no meaning, no value, no higherness, no spiritualness, nothing more profound. Everything just seems meaningless, and I've just been getting older, and I've been developing all sorts of health complications inside of my body, and I just feel like life has no meaning, no value, nothing. Everything, and I'm turning old, and my bro's got diabetes, and my parents are dead. Like, what the fuck's the point of it all now? In the end, it just seems like it's all fucking meaningless.